John Mulbury, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks very much, Paul. It's great to be here.
We had some scheduling snafus that were completely on my end, and you were patient. We hung in here, and I'm glad we had a chance to come together.
Yeah, it's great.
So you're coming to us from Wimauma, Florida. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, and that's in the Tampa area. So what you got going on in life right now? You're down there in the Tampa area in Florida.
Not much, actually. I'll tell you my war story first. I was hit by a drunken driver about 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years ago in November, and it gave me a traumatic brain injury. So that's why I'm sporting this haircut, and I'm just kind of dealing with that right now.
And where the effects of that have mitigated over time, or you got some stuff going on still?
Pretty much. Like I still can't remember anything from the last couple of years. You know, before the guy hit me. It was a drunk driver that hit me, by the way, but I can't remember a thing. I don't remember what I was doing. Like it was in a hospital, and they were trying to tell me that I retired from the Army, and I'm like, no, I'm still in the Army.
Was that right? No kidding. Well, you went out and ran some PT to prove it.
I guess so.
Okay. And how do you find now? Florida, you retired from the special operations community, which of course Tampa is famous for. Yeah. You just stayed on there after you retired.
Yeah, until about about 3 years ago, I lived right next to the base. I mean, very close to MacDill Air Force Base. But then the townhouse we lived in had a set of stairs, so we didn't like dealing with those so much. So now we moved out to Wimauma.
Okay.
And we'll probably be moving again here before long.
You're going to stay in Florida, you think?
I don't think so. I'm from New York originally, so I'd like to live somewhere back up north.
Oh, really? All right. Well, you'll see on I-95, everyone's coming south, and there you'll be heading north.
Yeah.
Good for you. I mean, speaking of which, you're from Schenevus, New York. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Now, you and I both know they spelled it incorrectly in the howitzer. They dropped an E.
Could be, yeah.
It's very possible. Send a note to the soup, a note of protest.
Sounds good.
That's a small town up near Troy. Is that right? Up in I looked at it on the map. It's up in the north.
The closest thing to a town that's near us is Cooperstown, the Baseball Hall of Fame and all that. Yeah.
So did you have to travel far away to high school and all that, or did you have all the schools were there local?
We had a very, very small and very close high school, so it was walking distance for me.
All right.
But it's basically a dairy farming village. That's all there is around there is dairy farms.
Is that right?
Yep.
And so, growing up, were you an athlete or an academic person? What were your interests growing up?
I tried to do some hunting and trapping mostly, muskrat trapping, and I tried to play soccer, but I wasn't much of an athlete.
Okay. And then West Point, what got you interested in that? Did you visit, or what happened there?
It was a chance to get out of that farming town to do something else. So really, that was the big thing.
I think that's a pretty common story of these podcasts.
Yeah.
Folks looking to get something going. So it's an opportunity. And then, so did you start early, or was it an idea kind of late in your high school life there? Or was it a thing you had in mind for a long time?
I think I had it in mind for a while.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And so any preparation ahead of time, like JRTC or anything? You hit it cold
nothing.
Like the rest of us?
Nothing.
That just showed up. Showed up in Mikey Stadium, and off we all went. Okay,
it was almost a community college for me because it was only about a 2.5 hour drive from my house. So.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Were you one of those that everybody traveled up to your house for a visit, or did you tend to not take people up to the dairy farms?
I had a couple of people come up and visit.
Yeah.
I think Steve Zaidan, if you remember him.
Yeah.
And a couple of other folks. Yeah.
Well, you those of you who live within the two hour radius were very valuable to us. So thank you for your service. So coming in Beast Barracks, how did you find it? I mean, if you thought about it for a while, how did it land with you when you got there?
I guess I just kind of dealt with it, because I couldn't think of any place better to be, so I had to give it there.
Yeah, fair enough. And then C3 was your first company over there in the front part of 3rd Regiment. I don't. I think you're the first person I've talked to who was a plebe in C3. How was it? How did they treat you over there in the front end of Third
I
Regiment?
guess okay. I
Okay.
remember our whatever words that we said going out of the barracks, was "Go Cox." So
Yeah.
that was kind of hard to say. Go Cox. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I was in I3 in the later part, and that remained the tradition. So
Yeah.
that's terrific. And then academics, how did you find it there? What was it like plebe year? Were you just tucked in?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I had any problems, but I survived.
Yeah. Good enough. Good enough. And so, transitioning upper class year, you ended up in the mighty D4 with some great characters over there, Pat
No
Antonetti and
kids. Yeah.
John Bodanovich, and a lot of great folks over
I've
there.
been, I've been in contact via email with John for a couple times.
Yeah, yeah, he's in
And
Chicago now.
I'm trying to
Um,
remember who else. Somebody in, I think they were in E4 was Kirk Benson.
yeah, yeah. Well, so you're a person I recognize because you and Pat and those guys, you would cut through our hallways to avoid the cold to get to class. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
always see you going through, and we'd wave or whatever. So that's terrific. You know, I guess that I don't know if that's the harder right or the easier wrong. It's the smarter right, keeping
Something.
out the cold
Yeah.
anyway.
Something, right?
And so you were on the honor committee yearling year. Is that accurate?
I think so. I think I did it a couple of years.
Yeah. And how'd that work? I guess yearling years when we all got voted, we
Yeah.
voted our honor reps and all that.
To
Um,
be honest, I really don't remember that much about it. So I
well,
guess
that's good. That means everyone stayed on the. It's usually the honor reps with the big stories that are ones that had
yeah.
problems. Terrific. Okay. And other so the pistol club you were in, and then the Arabic club. So talk
Yeah.
about your Arabic studies, because I'm assuming you didn't join the Arabic club and not speak Arabic.
No, that was we didn't have majors really, but it was concentrations. That was my concentration was in Arabic,
Yeah,
so I used it throughout the time in the army.
I bet you were going
And
to talk about that.
my
Absolutely.
Arabic instructor, Donald Galvanin, he ended up being my battalion XO when I was out at Fort Lewis.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that
and
right? And
I
what got you
guess
started on that? 'Cause that's a unique choice because
I
Arabic wasn't that famous back then, right?
just wanted something different. I guess.
Okay. And how did you find? I've dabbled in a little bit, just trying to learn the lettering system and things like that. How did you find it? Did you pick it up pretty quickly?
Um, I guess so. It took a lot of practice, a whole lot of practice.
Yeah, I think that's why most of us took Spanish.
Yeah.
we were looking at the direct line between 2 points because Arabic takes a little bit of work. And so, how proficient do you think you were at the end of school? Did the club being in the club help?
Um, I don't remember being in a club that much, but I remember it just, my concentration being there. I
Yeah,
think my score was like a 0+0+ when I graduated. And then after I spent a couple of years in fifth group, I got it up to like a 2+2+. So it was much
yeah,
better when I had a chance to use it in fifth group.
yeah, for sure, right? So, but I mean, you really got ahead of it there because we didn't quite. We thought the Eastern European languages might be more
Yeah.
where we'd be spending our time, but you definitely got ahead of it on that
I
front.
remember when I was going through the Q course for special forces, they had a language class that they'd send you to. In
Yeah.
some cases, it was overseas, so they sent me to Tunisia, and I had to take Arabic there, and I, I felt like I was in there with a bunch of kids or something like that because I could speak much. I couldn't speak it well, but I could speak much better than everybody else could. So it was kind of surprising to me.
Tunisia, well, good for you. You
Yeah.
walked the grounds of Carthage. How about
Oh
that?
yeah.
You went back to the old country, the oldest
There was
country. Good for you.
a Roman Colosseum there. What was left of it, a piece of a Roman Colosseum, and we went to that one time.
Yeah, no kidding. And
And after
but
I,
that was when you were in. That was when you were in the army back when
yeah,
you were
yeah.
off. Got it. Okay. And so were you a marching cadet? So you marched with the rest of us and
Oh
just
yeah,
did that? Yeah.
yeah.
part of the D4 marching group. Good for
Go
you.
Dukes. And the best part was, I think it was in my shoot, I forget which year it was, probably my junior year or something like that. Me and Darwin Haynes and I think Brian Tonkinson spent one weekend on a camping trip. They were within walking distance of the fort, and we got drunk and we took some liquor with us and we got pretty liquored up. And I walked back by myself. It was fine. But I guess Brian Tonkinson fell and hurt himself.
Oh, no.
So he had to go to the hospital for like his knee or something. And like a day after that, I got called in my tax office.
Right.
And he asked if I knew anything about it. And I'm like, well, yeah, I was kind of there. And I got like a 35 and 50 or something like that. But I spent like the whole semester on doing area tours.
No kidding. What year was that? That was.
I think it was like my.
Hopefully junior year, because that's when the study
year was.
You could take advantage of it. That's my problem. My grades suffer because I didn't get in trouble enough.
I guess I spent plenty of time in trouble.
How many total hours did you spend on the area while you were there?
I think that was about it that I did. Okay. So I was at 50. It wasn't much more than that.
That was the big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That old one of your buddies gets in trouble, then they call you in and say, "Do you know anything about it?" thing. That got a lot of people.
It got me.
The collateral damage effect. Yeah. And then infantry. So was that on your mind the whole time, or was there a moment where you said, "I want to go infantry"?
Pretty much. We did CTLT that year, and I went to an armor unit in Korea, but I realized there that armor really wasn't for me. Being infantry was kind of what I grew up doing, so that was basically my first choice.
You said fishing and getting out in the woods a little bit is what you did growing up, right?
Yeah.
That's great. All right. So an infantryman at heart. Nature versus nurture. You were all the way up an infantryman. Good for you. You did the armor CTLT in Korea?
Yep.
I guess you were in the pistol clubs. That got you out shooting a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you do Sandhurst and all that?
I think so. I don't really remember.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay. And then, but you did well academically enough to get out to the 7th ID, so that you couldn't be too much of a slouch to get out there, right?
My first assignment was the 9th ID, actually, up at Fort Lewis. Well,
9th, okay, sorry.
Joint Base Lewis McCord or something like that nowadays, but that's my first assignment. And,
got it. Okay.
My first roommate out there was a former cadet named Steve Savia.
Yeah, Steve. He's in our Steve was over with me in the back half of the 3rd Regiment, so I knew who Steve. Yep. So you guys roomed together.
Yep.
Did you know each other at school?
I don't think so. I think I might have met him like in Ranger School or something like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know him at West Point.
Okay. Well, we all made a lot of those kind of as lieutenants, made even more friends from the class. Okay. And so how did you find it at the 9th? Did you settle in there as a lieutenant? If you went to Ranger School, you got qualified there, I imagine, and out you went. Platoon leader time?
What's that?
Platoon leader time?
Yeah. And XO time, and I was a company commander for a little while because right at the end of when I was there is when the 9th ID was closing down, so everybody was running. So, we spent most of our time out at Yakima Firing Center.
Yep.
And that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was. I didn't start out with a rifle platoon. I started out with a tow platoon.
You did.
There were tows mounted on Humvees, so that was real exciting. Not.
Yeah. Well, were you in a mechanized unit?
It was a motorized infantry unit.
What did that look like? So you had the Humvees with tows on them for the tow platoon.
Yep.
And what character?
It was. They usually had 3 platoons, like that, and then another company had rifle platoons, and just guys that infantrymen that rode around on the backs of Humvees.
No kidding. So a Humvee mobile mechanized infantry company, essentially, right?
Yep.
And with that, they were experimenting with motorcycles and all the rest up there I think,
Yeah,
right?
I think before I got there, they did the I forget what they call them, those little desert
The go-karts, right?
parts. Yeah,
They're not go-karts. They're dune buggies. Machine guns
yeah,
on the top of dune buggies, I think was the
yeah. That
expression.
sounds about right.
So, say Steve Saby, you live with him. Did you run into any other classmates out there that you can recall?
Not that I remember. No.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so they shut it down, or they decommissioned your unit. How did that? What was your head at that point? So you had some platoon leader time. So
Um,
that's usually a decision point for a lot of us. But you thought you'd go to special forces. What was your thinking at the time?
well, actually, I figured I'd go to the next best thing, which is the Seventh ID, and they
Okay,
were
you did go to Seventh ID. All right, that's gotcha.
so I spent time as a battalion S1 and then a rifle company commander there, and that was a little bit different than Fort Lewis because it really was a rifle company.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was a pretty good time.
Okay, so you went back to the advanced course between the two
Yeah.
posts.
Yep.
Okay, so you didn't go special forces until after you had a rifle company.
Yep.
Got it. All right.
Because it was pretty funny because when they were inactivating the Seventh ID, they sent a branch manager down from the infantry, and he interviewed everybody, and he's like, "Oh, we'll take care of everybody. Make sure you get the right thing." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what unit are you gonna send me to?" And the guy's like, "Well, we'll send you where it's best for the army." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I've heard they need people in Alaska. How about that?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know."
Right.
If that's right. And so I said, well, I put in my pack. I was thinking about putting in my packet for special forces. So now I think I'm going to do that. And the guy was, between you and me, he's a real dick. He looks
Yeah.
at me and he goes, well, good luck with that.
Oh
So
my.
that's what made the decision for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Your resolve became
Yeah,
firmer once an unpleasant guy.
absolutely. That way I knew I had to make it through the Q course because I had no home in the infantry anymore.
Yeah. Right. Right. I love that though. We're going to really take care of you. It's called the needs of the army.
Yeah, that was it exactly.
That's, you know, terrific. So how did you find, how was the Q course in terms of, did you prepare for it? Or did you just go in and you'd spend a fair bit of time in Hunter Liggett going up and down those hills
Yeah,
and everything. So you're probably in
Angry
pretty good
Lizard.
shape, right?
Um, it was okay. Bottom line is I knew I didn't have a home in the infantry anymore, so I had to make it through.
You
So
had to make it.
I pushed really hard as far as that goes.
Good at land nav, I hope. I know that's the
Well,
downfall of many a good
good
officer.
enough to get through.
Right? Good enough to get through. Hey, you know what?
There's,
That's good enough.
there's a big land nav test during the Q course. I think you call it the STAR exam, and
Yeah.
I remember that was on my mind a lot of the time.
Yeah, I understand it was a Robert. Not myself, having gone nowhere near it. I've only living vicariously through folks like yourself. So, uh, yeah, absolutely. So successfully completed the Q course, though. And then,
Yep.
did you choose fifth, or is it kind of needs of the Army for you? How did that work in terms of the
I
selection?
chose fifth because I studied Arabic in school, so I
Okay.
figured that would make sense.
Yeah, of course. And its region was the Middle East, obviously.
Yep, Middle East and Northeast Africa.
Okay,
Like
got it.
my first deployment was to Kenya, of all places. I thought I'd be spending all my time in the Middle East, and I found myself in Kenya.
Right.
Okay, I can deal with that.
And you mentioned in your I have the benefit of you've been very kind and done a profile for classmates, so I have the benefit of that. Married 35 years. When did the family start coming together there? You got married around that time, right?
Yeah. Don't tell my wife this, but I checked the marriage block en route to the advanced course. So when I left Fort Lewis, we got married and then moved and everything on the way to Fort Benning.
Right. Okay, got it. Well, and how did you meet her? Did you all meet out at in Washington?
No, my cousin was her roommate for a while.
Okay.
So my cousin, would send me an email or write me a letter saying, "Hey, I've got this roommate here that might want to meet you." And I'm like, "Okay, well, send us a picture and let's see what happens." So she did. She hooked us up that way.
Well, that's great. good to have cousins. My
It,
cousins never did anything like that. I'm gonna have to get with them and like
it
a
worked out for me, I'll tell you.
That's terrific. Now, what was it about her and about you that your cousin identified? Did she ever say that this is why she thought you guys would get along?
Don't know.
Just
I don't really know.
just an instinct, a love of Scrabble, perhaps. I don't know.
But, but you made the right choice.
Right. Well, 35 years later, that cousin
That's
has a
it.
lot of
Yeah.
wisdom. That's pretty good. We should, if she's available, she can help the next generation out. Those, get them sorted out because she seems to have an eye for it.
That's it.
And so, did she have how did the military background, or she really understand what she was getting into, or was it kind of the whole thing new to her?
She was a first timer for all of it.
Welcome to the Army.
That's it.
And how did she find it? I mean, I'm just speaking on her behalf, of course, but
it took a little getting used to, but I think she got it. Her first assignment with me was Fort Benning for a little while, and then Fort Ord, and that was a different experience for her. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, Fort Ord must have been the shock because Fort Benning, you doing your coursework and you come home and you go out the field. Certainly, but Fort Ord must have been the shocker.
It was big time shocker. It was a little bit farther away from New York than I was used to.
Yeah, as a rifle company commander, you didn't spend a lot of time sitting in front of the TV at home, I imagine.
And driving out there, we drove out there for my PCS. My gosh, what a long drive that was.
Yeah, and it's a strange area. There's Carmel, there's nice areas there, but it's actually quite remote. At least it was back then, right? So, yeah. And did you guys live on base when you were there?
We did, yeah. We started out renting a place in Salinas, California.
Yeah.
Then we moved on base.
Right into the mist and the fog.
Yeah.
Right. So which Fort Ord is famous for.
And it was right. There's a lot of golf around there. It's right near. I forget the name of the big golf course there. But a guy in the company or in the battalion that he was like I was for, and he spent all of his money and all his time out at the golf course.
Right. You might as well do it then versus when you retire. A lot of our classmates are spending all their money and time on golf courses now. So.
And I tried to learn a little bit. There's 2 courses there on post.
Yeah.
One was bayonet and the other was black horse. So I tried to learn there, but no. Not much going.
Yeah. You got to have a passion for it. I think it takes time. So, we will tread carefully around golf with the classmates that we have because there are some enthusiastic golfers who, if we ever said any disparaging word about golf, we'd hear about it. So, John, we're going to step around it. So, if Fort Ord was a shock, 5th Special Forces Group must have been a real treat.
Yeah. It was. The Land Between the Lakes. There was this area in Kentucky called the Land Between the Lakes. So that took some getting used to for me because it was the other name for it was Tuckasee because it was like right on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I think half the post, if I remember, half the post was actually in Kentucky, the other half in Tennessee. So that took some getting used to. So
it's not Fort Campbell; it's another post up there.
No, it was Fort Campbell.
Part of Fort Campbell. Yeah. And so Special Forces, big shift, different mindset. How did you like it compared to being an infantry rifle platoon? Well, first a mechanized platoon leader, then a rifle, or a motor, or what did you consider yourself? A motorized platoon leader? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Motorized and then rifle platoon leader. What was it like being in Special Forces? Did you like it?
I liked it a lot better, a lot more. Just because,
Yeah.
What
was it like? I mean, obviously Special Forces has gotten a lot of airtime given the global war on terror. What was it like when you first went in?
Well, like I said, my first deployment was actually to Kenya, so that kind of confused me, but it was okay. It was just like a training mission, And we went down to Haiti for whatever, I forget what that was, but we were really there because there was a Pakistani battalion in the area, and we were supposed to kind of keep an eye on them. But again, it was good for me because it was away from home, a chance to do something.
Yeah. So those right out of the gate training missions, and those were the kinds of things you were doing. What year was that? What year did you join fifth group?
Oh gosh,
So let's see, after
probably 92 or 93, I would
92,
guess.
yeah, yeah, okay. So things weren't quite heating up yet. And then
Yeah.
so between 93, 92, 93, and 2000, what kind of work did you do there?
Um,
Because 2000 it all ramped
yeah.
up, right? So what? So you were in fifth group the whole time, or did you rotate around a little bit?
Um, I left fifth group and I started right before 9/11. I
Yeah.
moved to someplace up near Washington, a
Okay.
unit up there. So that was a pretty good time. It was the right time, right place.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I
Then
remember
9/11 hits.
I
So
remember
where,
when
where, are
the
you, where are you at? Where are you at in your career when 9/11 hits?
I was working at this other place in Washington. In
Yeah.
fact, a guy that was a good buddy of mine was going to drive up to the Pentagon that morning.
Yeah.
And he came
Oh,
back and said, "Oh no, there was a big thing that happened to the Pentagon." And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. Not going to head
"Really?
up
How
there.
big?" And he told me, So I remember like trying to drive home that day. The traffic was out of control,
Yeah.
and I tried to go by the Pentagon to see what it was, but again, it was all blocked up. Couldn't get near it. So it was interesting to say the least.
So did you must have known at that point your life was going to take a real turn in terms of
Oh
your
yeah,
career because now it was on, right?
yep.
Okay. So you did. So talk a little bit about from there on. So family wise, you were there in Washington. It kicks off. You're getting how many? What year is that? You're in pretty deep. What? How did that work? Did you volunteer for stuff, or did you wait for the next assignment based on the needs of the force?
Um, I'm trying to remember. I
Yeah.
think I stayed there because I really liked that unit,
Yeah.
and I think I stayed there and again spent a lot. We went to Bosnia for a while, so that was kind of interesting. Got a
Yeah.
photo of my time in Bosnia, a guy that was actually a partisan during World War II. So
No
that was
kidding.
interesting. That was pretty enlightening for me. And well, throughout the Middle East and northeast Africa, and I think I spent a little time in Pakistan. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then and after that, I went to battalion command. I had a recruiting command. Again, that was something totally out of the blue for me.
Yeah. No kidding.
But
Where was that located?
it was at Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You couldn't have a more diverse set of circumstances in your career, John. You so
Well, I'll tell you what.
Washington State, Fort Ord. I mean, that's Kentucky on the border with Tennessee, Washington D.C. area, and then down to Salt Lake or over to Salt Lake City. How did you find that?
That was great. I mean, I wasn't real crazy about recruiting command, but hey, you
Yeah,
got to be somewhere, right? But the good news was I lived like 30 minutes or 25 minutes away from one of the ski slopes. And
you
I
did.
was there
Oh,
every weekend. I was skiing.
that's another thing that people are enjoying in their
Oh, yeah.
retirement is a chance to go to Park City, which is
Yeah.
quite a
I went
nice
there a
place.
couple times. That
You
I'm
did.
trying to remember the name of the ski slope that was nearest to me that I went all the time, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
To me.
Well, you had quite a pick over there.
Yeah.
It's a nice area, and it's a clean town. What does a battalion command and recruiting command look like? Because I think you're probably the first to be able to describe it in
I,
terms of what it was like.
again, it was very interesting for me because we had, I think, geographically speaking, it was the largest battalion in USARAC. We had recruiting stations all over the place. I mean, there was one in California, there was one
Okay.
in Idaho, which is another good story, the Napoleon Dynamite story. But I'll get to that in a second. But well, everywhere around there, around Utah, we had a state recruiting station in Las Vegas, Nevada, really all over the place. So did a lot of driving. My sergeant major and I did a lot of driving every week.
No kidding. So you had
Yeah.
basically most of the West Coast. Did you have Texas, or you just stayed in the upper
No, we
part?
didn't have in Texas.
Okay, so you were in the upper part. And so when you would go to any of these places as you drove there, what were you inspecting, or what was the kind of things you were looking for when you'd show up at a local recruiting area, I guess.
Oh, we had a checklist that we went by, basically looking at what kind of folks the recruiters are talking to,
Yeah,
and that they were talking to folks, and just seeing what they were doing, to make ends with the local schools and everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And of course, in Utah, it was a little bit different, a little bit difficult because of all the Mormons. They had a problem
yeah,
about going to the army because they had their missions to go on.
yeah. They had
That was
a
interesting.
different program they were interested
But
in
one
doing.
one of my recruiting stations was in Idaho, and it was the same town where they filmed Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
And it just cracked me up to see that, because I'm like, yeah, I know that area, and we uh, tried to get Napoleon Dynamite as a lead, but it didn't work out.
Didn't quite work out. Well,
Yeah,
the MI community would have enjoyed having him in.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm an MI guy, so I can say that. That's terrific. And so, what type of soldiers came into your battalion? Were they did they volunteer to do recruiting, or was it like yourself? They were just given the assignment because the army needed them to do it.
Some of them did, and some of the company commanders there were some surprised me, because some were there because they got stuck there, and a couple of them
Yeah,
actually volunteered for it. The ones that actually volunteered for it, I thought the world of, and really did a good job. The
yeah,
ones who were kind of stuck there, you could tell that they didn't really want to be there.
yeah. Right. I mean, that's
Yeah,
that qualitative difference in
yeah.
anything that we do in life is if you're really into it, then you're going to put more energy into it.
I guess that went for me too.
Well, but it sounds like you went well because you went on to
Good job.
success,
Yeah,
right? So you were able to keep the cycles going, even though you
yeah.
weren't
And
you
that
didn't quite
that was
volunteer for it.
oh, such a pain in the butt, because every day we get a report from USAREC on how we were doing. The number of folks we were enlisting versus the number that we wanted to meet our goal. And my gosh, just every single day you were checking the emails and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I read that like, oh man, what a day! We can't get through this. But some days we'd hit them all. So it was
Well, it's very
interesting.
much a sales job, right? You're looking
Yeah.
at
Oh yeah.
pipelines and all
Big
this kind
time.
of stuff, right? Yeah. And was that all computerized by that time? So you were getting kind of reams of reports from computers, or was it still pretty manual?
I don't really remember.
Yeah, you just get an email
Yeah,
of the reports then, right? Yeah. I know around that time, the civilian world got all excited about computer
yeah,
reporting. So you'd spend more time trying to figure out how to get the report than actually seeing the information that
yeah.
helped you. So thank goodness you bypassed that. And how long was that command for? How long were you in Salt Lake City?
I think it was 2 years.
Okay. So you lived a very high speed life in terms of the infantry, then with Fifth Group, certainly with all the different places you went. Then you spent kind of a couple years in a city and driving around. Where was your head at the end of that command in terms of what
Um,
you wanted to do next?
I don't know. Well, I wanted to get back to Northern Virginia, so I did that. And that
Okay.
was the next assignment, and
Okay.
I spent a couple more years there.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, let's see. After that was the War College.
How'd you find the War College? Was that good?
Yeah, I thought so, because the best part of it, we got to do a couple different good trips. One overseas to Sicily and places like that, and
Yeah.
then we went to oh yeah, a big Civil War battle was there. Vicksburg. We went to Vicksburg too, so those are both well worth the time and
Yeah, it got you
opportunity.
out. Good. It never fails. We always do like a trip section, no matter how
Yeah.
old we are.
Oh yeah,
This is out.
and that was the best part, I'll tell you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, nobody talks about the War College. They just say I went to the War College and that was it.
Yeah.
I saw it on your LinkedIn that you got a master's degree as part of
Yep.
that program, right? So that's
Yep.
you guys had to work hard to get that. You don't just hand them out, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know how hard we were working, but hey,
Yeah,
I did what they told me.
yeah, yeah. Okay, fair enough. And so after that, did that go right back to? You went over to Afghanistan for a while, if I
I
think if
did.
I.
I went to Afghanistan after that, and
Okay.
I was assigned to Special Operations Command, but I was the head of the Reintegration Cell in
Oh,
Afghanistan. and that's where they were trying to take ex-Taliban people and get them to see the light and join the winning team.
Is that right? And
Yeah,
what, as much as you can say, what was that like? I mean, was it like a schoolhouse kind of thing where you're trying to teach people, or was it more recruiting people individually? How was that even, how was that problem even approached? I can't even
yeah.
imagine.
I was in RC North, Regional Command North, so we
Yep.
had up around Mazar-e Sharif, and we had I think substations like out in a bunch of different areas, and I think it was um, individuals that realized that that they weren't on the right team
Right.
would come forward and try to do something, and some of them, the people had been caught, they were captured or whatever by our forces,
Right.
and given a chance to try again. So that was pretty interesting, I'll tell you.
It's recruiting command of a different type, right?
Kinda, yeah,
In a way, right?
yeah.
And then did you have to travel a lot at that point, similar to your other jobs where you had to go out to the different
Yeah,
stations and check
we
them out?
spent a lot of time driving around. I've got a couple of different photos that I would take when we were driving around, just because it was so weird. And like I've
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
good picture of myself passing a camel, and when I was in the hospital there for my traumatic brain injury a couple of years ago, they wouldn't give me my driver's license back. I guess I couldn't pass the driver's test, and I'm
Right.
like, well, hey, I'm very qualified. Look, here's a photo of me passing a camel. Why can't I get a license? And that
Oh, in
didn't
that
work. So,
case,
so anyway,
we
there
didn't
I was.
realize you passed the camel,
Yeah,
the camel passing test. There, here's your license back. I
that was it.
like that. I like that. I'm gonna have to keep that in my back pocket should I ever need to pull it out.
Yeah,
Because I think I have a camel photo, but they're a completely different theater and
yeah.
much earlier. That camel's much older. Um, and so you were a year. How long over in Afghanistan? How long
It
was
was
that?
about a year. It was like 10 months.
Okay, yeah. And where did you consider your home base? Where was your wife living at that point? She head back to New York, or
No, she was still up at Carlisle, where
she
I
stayed at
stayed.
Carlisle? Got it.
Yeah, she stayed at Carlisle for the extra year, and we were one of the. They called them the Smurf houses because there's a bunch of houses that were just kind of old and beat up and very very small.
Right.
And there's some buildings, some new houses there, but we got stuck in one of the Smurf
Yes,
houses.
Smurf house.
So she got to stay there for an extra year.
Well, that's the point where you just look at her and say, "Only the best for you, honey." Right?
Oh yeah,
That's all you can say.
oh
You got a Smurf house out of it. And coming back from that, did they give you a lot of, well, different question. Did you run into any classmates over there in your adventures in Afghanistan? Sometimes that happens.
not that I remember, not in Afghanistan, but I remember right before I went to Afghanistan when I was still at the War College, they did a memorial for John McHugh,
Yeah.
and he was my roommate like my first year, for part of my first year or something. So I
Oh,
was able
wow.
to see his wife and daughter there and everything. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So you knew John.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. But certainly famous for all the reasons we're not happy about, but
yeah.
his foundation's done an excellent job in the classes participating in that. Okay. And then coming back, did they give you a lot of choices when you came back, or was it another needs of the Army in terms of your next assignment coming back from
I think they gave me some pretty good choices, but I
Okay.
ended up at Special Operations Command Central here in Tampa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mick Hadak, I guess, was down there he finished his career down there. A couple of the classmates, right? So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, and so that's where you finished up down there. But
it
30
is. Yeah,
years in, sir, that's a good run,
yeah.
man. Did you ever think that you would serve 30 years in the Army when you graduated?
I didn't know. I couldn't think of what else to do, so I guess it worked as well as anything.
Right.
And I think I told you this before, but when I was in a hospital here 5 years ago,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I had retired. I thought I was still in the Army.
Yeah.
So I was arguing with one of the doctors at the VA one day, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still in the Army. What are you talking about?"
No
And so
kidding.
finally, I had to call my wife, and she said, "Yeah, you kind of retired, about 5 years ago."
No kidding. No kidding. What was it like finding out that you retired? It's like, oh,
That was interesting to say the
yeah.
least.
Do I get another ceremony?
I was like, come on, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah. Did that come back? Some of that stuff come back to you in terms of your memory, or is that still
Not
blank?
really. I still can't. I really still don't remember what I was doing from the time of my retirement until I got hit by that drunk driver. So I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
was
yeah.
working,
I'm
or
so
I
sorry
know
to
I
hear
was
it.
working for a contractor on MacDill, and I don't know what I was doing. I think I was trying to work for the Joint Special Operations University for a while, and I was also working in the J5 at SOCOM for a while.
Yeah,
I don't remember any of those at all, but
no
oh
kidding.
well.
And that was like, and then from retirement to that accident was how many years?
It was about 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. So there's 4 years of time that you were contracting in some sense, and that was that.
I was doing something.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Well, there you go.
I don't know what, but something.
Yeah, yeah. So you think you and your wife are interested in moving back? Now, where does she grow up? I don't think I asked that.
She grew up in New Jersey.
Okay, so she's a northeastern girl as well. So
Yeah,
you both are talking about maybe moving back up north.
I would love to go back up north, but I don't like driving up there anymore.
Yeah.
I can't drive anymore, but still, I think it's the roads. But we're talking about going up near to Savannah, Georgia. I got a brother that lives not far from there.
Okay. We have classmates there as well, and
Yeah,
the southeast has quite a few folks down that area.
and
Um,
my wife
then-
said she wants Savannah. I said, well, if we're going to Georgia, we need to go to Dahlonega for the Mountain Phase Rangers goal. But I don't think she's into that.
she's not into that. No, there's no way. You want to talk about Smurf houses? That's not where you want
Yeah.
to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say not a good spot to settle would be Dahlonega.
Probably
Absolutely.
not.
That's yeah. Savannah's nice though. That would
Yeah.
be worth looking at. You got Charleston is up in South Carolina, just up north of there. That's nice as
Yep.
well. Lots of options. We have lots of classmates. You can go up there and they can tour you all around and show you the good spots too.
There we go.
I tell you what, it's a life well lived. And so now that things have settled a little bit after the accident and all that, do you travel at all, you guys? Or you vacation? What do you do for enjoyment now?
Um,
Not golf. We already talked about that.
golf. I've been up to visit my mom sometimes, and
Okay.
brother lives not far from there, so it's not all the way up to New York, but it's closer to Savannah. So I've taken, believe
Yeah,
it or not, I've taken a train up to visit them a couple times.
you have.
Yeah,
Ed Pygott, who's a classmate of ours, he just took a train all the way across country. So he's like our poster child for train travel. Now that I've got you in the club, we'll have to connect you
that's
guys
a
up.
long ride.
You can compare routes,
Yeah.
But he said he's now he's going to come back the other way. And he's thinking about how maybe an airplane looks like a pretty good idea.
Oh yeah. Oh
'Cause
yeah.
that is a long way.
I've decided that I like airplane rides much more than train rides.
They seem to be a bit shorter. That's right,
Yeah.
and a few less bumps anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So you guys just settle in maybe Southern Georgia area and visiting friends and family. The classmates are there's thick as fleas everywhere, so we can certainly show you a good time out
Indeed.
here. But all right, that's good. Well, at least you avoided that golf thing because that'll take a lot of money. We promised
Oh
not to
yeah.
talk about it, but that golfing that'll get you. But that's good stuff. Is there any story that you'd love to tell and the classmates and family could hear that would be interesting to you that we haven't touched on?
I think we hit them all, but yeah, I
Good.
don't have any stories. No.
All right. Well, distinguished career, 30 years, retired as a colonel, special forces, which means that you're the toughest of us with many of our special forces classmates that were out there. And you did the good work, my friend. You did the good work. And if you do come up a little bit farther north out of Florida, we got a lot of folks we can connect you up with. And
Sounds good.
hopefully we'll see you at the reunion as well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I'd love to have you up there. So,
Great.
John Mulbury, so great talking to you. Thanks so much
Great
for coming
talking
on.
to you as well. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Courage Never Quits podcast, where any member of the class of 1986 who is willing to tell their story will be a guest. To get the word out and stay up to date on the latest episodes, hit the like and subscribe button. With over 900 living graduates, we have a lot of stories to tell, and you don't want to miss any of them. We'll see you in the next episode.